In the last section, we added 2 text inputs and a button the user can tap with the expectation that when they press it, they will be signed into our application. So the visuals are looking pretty solid so far. I think that the next thing that we need to focus on is what we do with the username and password when the user taps on press here. So we need to, in other words, log the user in. So when the user enters the username and password, they're really expecting to log into our app somehow, right? That means that we need to devise some means to verify that they entered the correct username and password. So we need to basically say, at this step right here, did the user enter the correct username and password, yes or no? So to handle this authentication step, we're going to use a very popular backend library or very popular service called Parse. So Parse is referred to as backend as a service. It's like a server that provides a bunch of functionality to us that we could write on our own using, say, like Node or Ruby or some other backend. But instead we're going to use Parse because it really just saves us a ton of time in writing that functionality, testing it, deploying it, all that type of management. Parse really takes the burden of all of that management off of our back. So Parse does a lot of stuff besides just authentication, but we'll cover a lot of that stuff later. For right now, we're really just going to be concerned with using Parse for authentication. So let's go ahead and get started with Parse. Step 1 is to sign up for a new account. In a web browser, I'm going to head on over to parse.com. And at the top right, I'm going to find a link that says sign up for free. And I'll go ahead and enter my username, I guess my email. And I've already signed up for a couple accounts on Parse, so I'm going to use I don't know if you guys know this, but if you use Gmail, you can put plus and then something, basically anything, and we'll still go to your email address. But as far as any outside service is concerned, this is like a unique email. Anyway, it's just a nice little side topic. So let's do a password. And then my first app, I'm going to call just authentication. And I don't really have a company name, so we'll just go ahead and skip that. Okay, so signing up for the account is so easy. Thankfully, we don't have to go verify the email or anything like that. I know it's really nice. So now that we're in here, we get a menu that is prompting us to do some initial setup here. Basically, set up the first application. As you can see, there's really just a tremendous number of features in here, but we're really just concerned with the one on the top left, the real core feature, which is data. So let's go ahead and tap on data. And it asks us, okay, well, you want to make a application that's focused on using our data service, but what type of platform do you want to deploy it to? So you might guess, well, we're making a mobile application. Yeah, we kind of are, but it's React Native, it's JavaScript. Really, we're using a web. This is really a web application that we're building. So we'll go ahead and click on Web. We will tap on New Project, and then it tells us, okay, cool, download the blank project. We don't really want to do that. We've already got our project. We don't need a blank one. But more importantly, it does say add your keys to the application. So as you might imagine, when we sign up for Parse, we get an API key. The API key is what's used to say, okay, this application is trying to communicate to Parse, hey Parse, here's my unique identifier. Here is my unique token that says I belong to application authentication, which is owned by user Steven Grider. Okay. So let's go ahead and you go ahead and click on parse.initialize. Make sure you got the whole string here. It goes on for a while to the right. And then we will copy it. Let's open our code editor. We will find main.js. And then inside of component, we'll mount, we'll add a function, and we'll paste that whole line of code. Make sure you got everything all the way over to the far right here. Okay, so component will mount, as you might guess, is a function that's ran by React automatically whenever the component is about to be displayed on the screen. So what we're doing here is saying hey, main.js, you are really, the core of our application. Whenever you are about to appear on the screen, go ahead and initialize parse using these two unique keys right here. Cool. So we've now got our initialization code in here, but we haven't installed, the parse library or anything like that. We don't magically get use or access to, some variable here called parse or anything like that. We have to actually install the parse library. So let's go ahead and tackle that in the next section.